Hey everyone, Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys an old school album review. And today we're going to be looking into this album's 20th anniversary. Well, it's not today, but I figured I'd review it since I'm actually going to see this album being played live in its entirety on Tuesday at the Tabernacle in Atlanta. So, yeah, it's below the title. Today we're going to be looking into Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory by Dream Theater. This was the band's fifth album released on October 26th, 1999 through Elektra Records. Now, of course, this is probably, in my opinion, probably my second or third favorite Dream Theater album. And honestly, like I said before, I mean, I'm not like a huge fan of like progressive metal and stuff, but Dream Theater is actually one of those exceptions. I actually pretty much dig pretty much most of these stuff, although there's a couple albums that are kind of crap, but yeah. Now, of course, like I said, this kind of like alludes to like their song Metropolis Part 1, The Miracle and the Sleeper, off of their album Images and Words, which in my opinion is still their best work. And a lot of fans wanted to see if there was going to be a part 2 to it. There kind of was. I mean, it was. There were actually. I heard from what I heard. I feel like they were going to make. Images Words is going to be like a double album. Well, they had like the one song Change of Seasons, but they didn't make it on the album because I guess the lifetime thing. But it ended up being an own EP. But they decided originally. I heard they were going to make this album was going to be just a 21-minute instrumental demo. But it did, which actually was going to be on their previous album, Falling into Infinity, but it didn't make it. But then they decided, you know what, why don't we just do a whole full album? And this is actually the band's first concept album, which actually lyrically talks about a guy named Nicholas who goes under like some sort of fucking like hypnotherapy and talk about his lover Victoria and all some like weird crazy shit. Yeah, but it's just honestly, I feel like this is a really great album. Like if you read the lyrics in the booklet, it actually feels like it's a script. And I really wish this could have been a movie. Like I could have seen them like do it like a movie and also have like the band playing in some parts. I feel like this could make like a great movie just like the script and everything. I know they also did that as well as like in the like the Live in a Lifetime live scenes from New York DVD concert, which I actually had watched on YouTube and stuff, and it's actually a really good concert. Anyway, back to this album. But the production wise, I feel like this is just great sounding. Like Dream Theater always has like good production. Even like in the 90s, it sounds really good. And vocally, James LaBrie sounds pretty good on this album. Like guitar wise, the guitar tone sounds good. John Petrucci can do no wrong. The bass is pretty audible. John Myung can play. And this is actually also the first album with their current keyboard player, Jordan Rudess. Hard to believe he's been at the band for 20 years now. And this thus completed the band's lineup for about 10 years or so until, of course, Mike Portnoy left the band. And, of course, Mike Portnoy, my all-time favorite drummer, he can do no wrong. Like, his drumming is just all over the place. One of the best drummers I've heard. And, like I said, my all-time favorite drummer. So, yeah, without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. I can also tell like the story as well. So we're going to Act 1, which is the first 7 tracks. We'll start with Scene 1, Regression, which is definitely a good opener. And it starts with the hypnotherapist putting the main character Nicholas into a trance. Eventually, sort of like an acoustic guitar fades in. The music is simple, short, and to the point. And only acoustic guitar and vocals on this one, and it just works great. And then we go into Scene 2, which is actually the track 2, which actually two-parter, which actually we'll talk about Overture 1928, which is actually the first instrumental song on the album. It has a really cool groove and awesome solos. Not amazing and flashy solos, but cool nonetheless. If you don't know what an overture is, it contains like musical themes from every song on the album, kind of like a table of contents in a way. And then Scene 2, which is Part 2, Strange Deja Vu. This song is kind of like pretty pop-friendly by Dream Theater standards. No real blazing solos and is only about 4 or 5 minutes long. And it is really cool how it goes directly from Overture 1928. And this song sort of talks about Nicholas being hypnotized and whatnot. I feel like the song Strange Divest from their album Awake is more of a straightforward good song than anything else. But I like this like Strange Deja Vu into a greater deal. Scene 3. Now this is another two-parter. part, which I'll talk about, the first part being Through My Words. It starts off with a quiet piano and vocal melody, and then it explodes into a hard rocking max that is a fatal tragedy. And in this song, Nicholas learns about Victoria and his past life, who was murdered, which is just pretty fucked up. And then it goes into part two, which is Fatal Tragedy, which is a total groovy song, and it's got an amazing solo section. And actually, I feel like this is the first trademark Dream Theater solo section on the album. Then we go into Scene 4, Beyond This Life. This song is more metal than anything so far. It's got a pretty cool groovy riff that's repeats throughout most of the song, and the chorus is fun and whatnot. It is far quieter than most calm of the metal fury that is found on the rest of this tune. And the solo section is awesome. So in this one, they pull off the solos that sound reminiscent of classic rock, and this song deals with the murder mystery of Victoria. And then we go into Scene 5, the last scene in Act 1 being Through Her Eyes. And this is actually a ballad over here. It tells about how sad Nicholas is here about what happened with Victoria and her dying. And it is slow, and it has a pretty melody, but nothing really too special over here. And then we go into Act 2 right here, and starting it off is Scene 6, Home. And this is a major metal-rific song. And it has sort of like an Egyptian deal going on at first, and it goes into some heavy riffage that the whole family can enjoy. And this song, it tells about Victoria's love affair, and it's extremely cool. However, I feel like the solo section in this kind of drags on for a little bit. And then we go into Scene 7, which is another two-parter, first part being Dance of Eternity. And this is actually the second and last instrumental song on this year's CD, and I really love it. It's completely random, and it has no structure at all. Jordan Rudess pulls up sort of like a great 20s ragtime solo, and there's like a mind-blowing bass solo. And this is one of the few Dream Theater songs where John Petrucci takes a back seat, even though he's playing is still at top notch here. And then part 2 being One Last Time, and this is the only song that leaves no lasting impression on me whatsoever. And the lyrics don't seem to fit much with the story, but the music is good, but it's not as good as most of the stuff on here. And it is short, and quickly moves on to the next song. And I say, honestly, I feel like this was more of a filler track. And then we go into The Spirit Carries On. I feel like, in my opinion, this is probably one of my favorite songs on the CD. It's completely orgasmic, and it has one of my favorite guitar solos ever. And the lyrics are about the concept of reincarnation, which plays a major role on this album. And I love it, and so should you, and for all like its greatness and emotion. And then the story concludes with the last song, Scene 9, Finally Free. The last song on the album, which is one of the longest. I guess it's like 12 minutes long, and it's one of the best. It wraps up the story very well, and then the musicians are in top-notch here. This song is pretty orgasmic, and I never grow tired of it. After a while, the music stops, and you hear Nicholas, and the story ends with what happened with no music playing, which is, I guess, I'm not going to spoil it for you, just have to listen to this yourself. But overall, Scenes from a Memory by Dream Theater is a pretty good album. Great storyline to go with the music and everything. If I were to give this a score, I'm probably going to give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of Scenes from a Memory, guys. And if anybody is actually, any Atlanta homies that are watching this are going to their show on Tuesday at the Tabernacle, I will be there, and I'm really stoked to see this album played in its entirety. Yeah, and I actually got VIP to meet Dream Theater, so if anybody that has VIP that is going, hope to see you there. So yeah, that's my review of Scenes from a Memory, guys. Thank you guys for watching. See you all in the next video, and keep it metal.